So, Excellency, Honorable guest speaker, ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite the last speaker for the morning session today. So, Professor Malagapo from United Arab Emirates, and the topic is mentoring a high-end graduate school in the Middle East, a case study. So, please welcome. Excuse me, doctor, could you please unmute, sir? On the left-hand side, sir. On the
Okay.
left-hand side, thank you.
Is it okay now? Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Sound
Okay.
very clear, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. MC,
Yep, sir.
ladies and gentlemen, and all respective professors, teachers, students, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning here in Dubai, and maybe good afternoon there in Cambodia, and probably good evening in the Philippines. Now, my subject matter is about mentoring a high-end graduate school in the Middle East, a case study. Okay, you can see there that in my first slide, I presented the CICME because we are very appreciative for their invitation and the entire Cambodian government. I carried the flag of United Arab Emirates because I'm where the university is now having some program here, and also I carried my company, which is the A.P.M. and Associates. Okay, in slide 2, you can see my presentation are presented in 3 phases. The first phase is the mentor's journey. Second phase is the review of literatures and methodology. And the third phase is result and discussion, mentorship benefits and barriers, future recommendations and conclusions. Slide 3 is the phase 1, the mentor's journey. As I stated to you one of my excerpts in my autobiography, which is entitled An OFW's Personal Saga Through Love, Faith, and Hope, which is found in chapter 11, pages 57 to 58. Here it states, the teaching profession is a way of life that without teachers and the knowledge shared, the universe and her people will not be developed and will not prosper. As I continue with my journey in teaching, it was and is parallel to the kind of academic environment that we have gone through. Slide number 4. As I move on to my phase 1, the mentor's journey, you can say that you have to pursue educational excellence through the graduate program, in which we have now, and on other locations which the graduate programs are also offered. Then we have to support our Filipino overseas professionals who are working in the Middle East and other areas in the world, in order for them to sustain life's challenges and personal growth and development. And we have to apply the innovative teaching methodologies, such as qualified professors, material sources established curriculum, syllabus, lecture, discussions, case studies, projects, and immersions, among others, that will attract the interest of the prospective students who will enroll. Our graduate program started in 2005 with only 4 students with location in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, then grow to several students each trimester throughout the Middle East. For example, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, and Kuwait. Then we have some kind of immersions in short postgraduate courses, which we did and until now at Harvard University in Massachusetts, USA, for 7 programs. And then some other immersions, which we conducted in Singapore, in Pasig, Metro Manila, in Oman or Muscat, Oman, in Abu Dhabi, Movenpick, or Dubai, among others. So these are the locations of which our immersions were being done or conducted. Now, the teaching methodologies that I suppose to have my foundations, including my professors. This includes the case study method using the Harvard case analysis and the FRIEdr SWOT analytics approach and the IESA Business School simulation approach, among others. The author's mentoring signature was premised on 8 strategic teaching approaches, namely the theory and application of the topic. Second, lecture and discussion and students' interactions. Third, the professor's critique and recap before class end. Fourth, assign projects each term. 5, the use of case study methods. 6, immersion projects. 7, monitoring and control. 8, in mentor-mentee relationship, there is always fun and enjoyment throughout the class. Slide 11 will show how do we manage and mentoring our graduate study program. I can say that this is a $65 question. And my answer is application of the mixed Internet of Things and the traditional teaching methodologies, which involves e-learning. And that is part of professors' experiences for the past 30 years. Then we have the blended learning system using the portal, which are the Blackboard, Bluebook, Ginomeo, and the Zoom platform, which we are now using. And then there is a face-to-face before the COVID-19. And then the constant communications through emails, Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp, other Internet of Things. As we move on to slide 12, you can say that we have the statistical facts for the last 15 years. Our statistical data shows us a yearly intake of 16 MBAs, 2 Master in Management, and 5 PhDs. A total yearly intake of 23 students, which is the right number for us to govern and manage the graduate school. Slide 13 now is the second phase, which is the review of related literatures and methodology. Now, I have here cited 6 citations. The first one is Mentoring Relationships in Graduate School by Tenenbaum et al. 2001, published in 2001. The second was Mentoring Faculty Online, a Literature Review and Recommendations for Web-Based Programs, Hyundai et al. 2020. The third is the Vision and Mission and Blended Learning System, A.P.M. and Associates Programs for Middle East Operational Sustainability, which is my dissertation in 2019. The fourth is Flexible Blended Learning System for A.P.M. and Associates High-End Executive Courses in the Middle East, which is done by my students in 2019, Bicoy et al. The fifth citation, Blended Learning in Higher Education, Institutional Adoption and Implementation by Porter et al. In 2014, and Mentorship at a Distance by Rankin et al. 2020. As we move on to phase 2, again, these are the major objectives or major and specific objectives. The major objective shows that to mentor our graduate students and professionally develops them as businessmen, entrepreneurs, and corporate executives, researchers, and professors. And what are the specific objectives? One, to share mentoring experiences and skills through the application of the Internet of Things of the Industrial Revolution. 4, 2, to introduce innovative pathways in solving case studies in the class as actual simulation and application in the corporate environment. Third, to share best professorial practices and application of research findings to solve corporate problems as encountered in action situation by executive students in their workplaces. Fourth, to focus on research projects that can provide new knowledge to mankind and can help support innovative projects in the students, the corporate landscapes, as well as the government's flagships. We have 27 published international and 2 Scopus articles already. And to establish partnership and collaborations between researchers globally and participate in any international research forum. That's why we are participating here, because we want to network with other countries, especially on research work. And number 6, to establish a deep bench in graduate research for the benefits of the students and the school and the general public. Now, the methodology includes the qualitative design, which involved content analysis of scientific literature obtained from research databases such as Google Scholar, Directory of Open Access Journals, Public Medical Library, ResearchGate, and other digital materials. The data were clustered to answer the main and specific objectives of the study. Now let's go on to the next phase, which is phase number 3. Result and discussion, mentorship benefits and barriers, future recommendations and conclusion. So we have to discuss first the result and discussion. Now we have to define mentoring. Mentoring is a mutual and supportive learning relationship, either by 2 caring persons or a mentor for a group of persons or students, sharing new or old knowledge, experiences, wisdom, and understanding how will it benefit for them. Both mentors and mentees have opportunities to expand their knowledge and skills through their instruction and facilitation of others. Then the organization can further develop and disseminate the wealth of talent, skill, and knowledge of its employees and staff. As we go further on phase 3, we have now the mentor-mentee relationship example. About 6 of the world's most successful people have been mentioned by Wikipedia, have benefited and advanced their careers and built their networks, like FRIEdr mentored Richard Branson of Virgin on business. Aristotle for Alexander the Great in politics. Martin Scorsese for Oliver Stone at New York University on film directing. Johann Christian Bach for Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in music. Eddie Merck for Lance Armstrong in sports. And Obi-Wan Kenobi for Anakin Skywalker and his son Luke Skywalker in fantasy. Slide 18. We now have the citations on mentor-doctoral students relationship. The doctoral student-faculty tandem fits into the view of professional acting as guide and teacher of a less experienced person termed as academic advisor and the mentor, by Creighton, Parks, and Creighton in 2008. The advisor's job is to provide information on degree requirements and guidance on how to navigate the system, a job that does not have to be filled by a faculty member. A mentor is a role model, professional, and a faculty member. Mentoring is more intricate, long-term, one-on-one relationship more than providing information, by Galbraith, 2003. A mentor is a role model, or the same thing. Okay, let's go again here. As we move on to phase 3 again, we have the positive observations coming from our firm, A.P.M. Associates. The first positive observations is the willingness of the A.P.M.E graduate student to learn the hard way in research using the M.R.A.D format. Second, the eagerness and the full support of the research team to develop the graduate students into full-time researchers that involves constant mentoring and follow-up. Third, the mentees' involvement in the international and local presentations through the mentors' constant follow-up and the success of their participations in the events. Fourth, the mentees' positive attitude towards their mentors and their committed conformance to the strict requirements of the research and ethics team requirements. Fifth, full support of the university management towards the implementation of the new M.R.A.D format to be the official guide in the research studies starting 2020. Slide number 20. Again, phase 3. Now, these are the barriers to effective mentoring. First one, lack of time on the part of the mentor and mentee in coordination in the preparation and completion of the research study. Second, lack of communication to both mentor and the mentee to agree on what guide to be adopted. Third, the mentee's abidance and discipline in the following up of their milestone schedule to complete the research projects as per time frame. Fourth, short in the requirements of the research project in terms of resources, such as the budget, time constraints, the respondents, the support from the statistician, among others. Fifth, lack of mentees' professional time if their work requires them to stay in the workplace beyond the usual work time during COVID-19. Slide 21. These are the future recommendations. There are 9 of them. The first, future guide to weigh rewards and costs before deciding to mentor, while others will lean more towards rewards or costs regardless. Second, there is a need to prepare a guide for future mentors to study graduate school curriculum, to come up with the right direction in which field they will specialize that will provide their mentees the benefit to develop their research skills and its application to the current situation. Third, revisit the interview of the mentors after passing some time to examine how participating in the study has impacted their perspectives on mentoring. Fourth, examine how the adapted conceptualization of the established social exchange theory works with other participants to maximize benefits and minimize costs. And fifth, future recommendations. Prepare guide for better ways to match mentors and mentees to practice and training that can be positively influenced by reflections of the participants. Sixth, future curriculum in any graduate school should include mentoring, especially to those graduating students who will be preparing the research projects and they rely on the support of their advisors or mentors. Seven, more researchers and graduate student mentors in any field of study needs to be conducted to ensure dynamics of research work. Eight, enhance an effective mentoring relationship between the mentor and the mentee to support the novice researcher. Nine, revisit the barriers and conduct a study to minimize or eliminate these negative factors for a common good. And in my conclusion, I can say there are four of them. First, pursue educational excellence through graduate programs in the Middle East. Second, support Filipino overseas professionals in sustaining life's challenges and personal growth and development. Third, apply the innovative teaching methodologies such as Harvard case study analysis. Fourth, apply the author's mentoring signature based on 8 strategic teaching approaches. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. God bless you
Yeah,
all.
thank you very much for your meaningful presentation, Dr. Malagapo. So now you have around 20 minutes more to answer the question. And please allow me to read the question from our participant for you. So the first question from our participant from Rachana stated that mentor should be the role model, but no one knows everything. So some mentee might be knowledgeable than the mentor does in some areas. So they might not have confidence on mentor. What should be the solutions toward this? Thank you.
The mentor and the mentee should always be coordinating each other. Now, if the mentor is good on one field and the mentee is good in the other field, then they might be collaborating each other. So, if the mentor uh, really helps that mentee because that mentee needs the specialization of the mentor, well, that's fine. But if the mentee is better than the mentor, then that mentee must have to find for a mentor better than him or better than him, her. So there's no, I can say there's no logic if the mentee is good and then his mentor is not good. The mentor should be better above the mentee. That's my answer.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doctor. And another question from Kontai. So, what are keys the term of relationship of mentoring in higher education? And if a teacher is weakness of mentoring in higher education, do you have any solution to help him or her?
Well, in the higher education, let's talk about in the classroom on a particular subject. If the subject is about operations management, the professor should be very well versed about operations management. And if all the students don't have or 50% have the background in manufacturing concern and other industries which involves operations, then during the discussion period, there will be a very uh, this good discussion, and everyone will be happy about it. But on the other hand, if the mentor or the advisor or the professor who is handling that subject don't have any industry background, it is a disaster for the class. So what I can say here is that when you enroll in the graduate school, see to it that your professor has all the industrial background, not only for the academy. Academic can help, but when talking about some examples, case studies, it's very hard if the professor don't have any industry background. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Doctor. So here come another question from Young Sa. What are the benefits of mentoring in higher education and lower education?
Okay, so there are two things now. When you are talking about lower education, it might be on the K-12 from grade 1 to grade 12. And higher education, those are the tertiary and the graduate school. So the question now is, what is the difference or what are the advantages? Yeah, Mr. MC, what was the question? Is there any advantages?
The next, what are the benefits? What are the benefits of mentoring in higher education and lower education? Benefit of higher and lower education.
Yeah, uh, I think the benefits will be the same because if the lower education, especially on the college level, will have their own mentorship, then whatever the problems that are been experienced by those students on that particular level, that mentor can help them. At the same time, on the higher education, like the graduate school, they have the same experiences as those on the lower school. But then for the graduate school, it's better to have a mentor, especially if that student is also working at the same time. There is a big difference between a working student and a full-time student because they have to be involved in their work every day, their family, and so forth. While those full-time, they're only thinking about their academics. But then they are still using some mentors' advices because for me, it's really worthwhile to have a mentor. So that's the advantages to have a mentor. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. So here come another question from Chanthi Wayne. Could you please clarify on how to enhance mentee positive behavior?
Okay. We have different behaviors, especially uh, during the time of mentoring them. One of the problems that we have with our mentees is that the time. Okay, you say we have a milestone. We are doing the milestone every now and then, and there are times when you are calling your mentees. Oh, are you now ready for our discussion? They will say, "Oh, I have still some work to do." So that really happens. So the mentor and mentee relationship will never go positively because of that kind of uh, attitude. Maybe the mentee is really don't have any time. Now this is what I can say. If you don't have, if you will not spend time in order for you to sit down with your mentor, you don't have to get a mentor because it will only ruin the day of the mentor and ruin your day also. So the good relationship here is that there will always be an agreement on time. There will always be an agreement on what guide should be used. And there's always an agreement that the project will be done on a certain time limitation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doctor. So here come another question from Hein Kung Hin. It would be better if the mentoring program is applied for all the schools in Cambodia. Could you please provide some recommendation for Cambodia Ministry of Education to empowering effectiveness of mentor role?
Okay, I think Cambodia is not yet led. In other words, most of the professors there are also taking their graduate school programs. Now, my suggestion is that let these professors who are practicing management or business management do some kind of guidelines and present it to the government. Probably guidelines which are patterned from Harvard University, which we are also doing that. And I can say that the government, if uh, they are say as soon as they uh, review the guidelines done by the management practitioners there and then discuss it thoroughly, I think the government might be sold out and agree to this guide, and I can say that it will be a good initiative for all those management professors practicing there in their field. So I suggest it will be initiated by your people there, the professor. But if you need some help coming from outside, well, definitely will help. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. So last two questions for you. So from Mr. Kim Channa stated that what are the challenges in mentoring for applying school in rural area?
When you are talking about rural areas, is that are you thinking about this universities that exist in the rural areas or what? What does
The
it mean?
question is applying mentor, the challenges in applying, the challenges in mentoring for applying in school in rural area.
Okay, whether it's rural or urban, if mentoring is really necessary for the student to know more about the field that he wants to undertake. So there's no difference because whatever knowledge that you want to impart, it doesn't question what place that they want to mentor. It might be in the cities or it might be in the rural areas, it might be in the provinces, doesn't matter. Because right now we have an efficient technology, industrial revolution number 4, the Internet of Things, even up to the place where people are on the mountains, they can still use their iPhones, etc., etc. So there's no problem wherever locations they are. Mentoring is really necessary.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doctor. So here come another question from Mr. Channa Ching. So stated that, if I'm not wrong, you have mentioned about the benefit of mentee. Do mentors themselves got benefit for the mentoring program?
Oh yes, yes. In our case, because our students are more having good positions. Some are CEOs, some are managers, some are engineers, and most of them have good life here in the Middle East. Most mentors receive something. In other words, there is an agreement between the two, the mentor and the mentee. Because our mentor are part of our research team who have 2, 3, or 4 doctorate degrees, and you cannot just have the mentor without any compensation, right? So there is an agreement how much will be the fee, the professional fee, but it's an affordable fee that both of them will be happy about it. But the end result is the research work is published internationally, and our main focus now is to put all our research studies in Scopus. And that is the main focus that we are trying to put to the heads of our mentees or our students who will graduate within the next 2 years or maybe within the next 3 years for their graduate program, especially on PhDs. So once published in Scopus, then we are very happy on that. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Doctor. So I would like to invite you to answer one more question from Katsaret. Based on your experiences, what is the most challenging between mentor and mentee? Do you have any effective method to help fixed mindset mentee to improve their career?
Okay. This is my suggestion for those mentees. Mentees, number one, should follow instruction from their mentors. Second, they should have their milestone schedule. Third, whatever is the due date, they have to follow. Fourth, they have to do research, 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 and research. It's just like they have to pray, pray, and pray, and pray. And there is always a coordination between the mentee and the mentor. And the last thing is that the attitude of the mentee is very important. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your clear explanation and answer to the question. I am
You're
pretty
welcome.
sure that this presentation as well as question and answer would be useful for our audience and participants. Because of time constraint, we could not answer all questions that have been dropped in the chat box. So let us sorry for that. And the rest question would be answered in the forum. Thank you so much, Dr. Malagapo, for your clearly presentation as
Thank
well
you,
as
sir. Thank
explanation.
you, sir.
So here come to the end of your presentation. And before the end of this presentation, I would like to invite all participants, honorable guest speaker, ladies and gentlemen, please turn on a video so that we could have a photo together. Thank you. Doctor, could you please stop sharing so that we could have,
Okay.
some more photo for us? Thank you, sir.
Where is that? Where is that? Stop sharing. Where can I stop?
At the top of the screen, sir, at the
Okay.
middle top of the screen.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
stop sharing.
Ah, stop sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. It's that post share.
Stop
Stop,
sharing.
stop
Yeah,
share. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you so much, doctor. So without further delay, I would like to count from number 1 to number 3, and we will have a photo 3 times. So let me count. 1. So let me count again. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. One last. 1, 2, 3. Just thank you so much for your participation today. So here come to the end of our session in the morning. So thank you so much for your time and for your participation. Thank you.
Bye.
In 1860, a French naturalist was cutting his way through the Cambodian jungle in search of exotic insects. Henri Mouot suddenly came across the last thing he was expecting, a massive complex of stone temples. Mouot had stumbled across one of the world's most astonishing and enduring architectural feats, the 900-year-old remains of Angkor Wat. But who built these vast, sophisticated temples? Why construct them deep in the jungle, only to abandon them? At first, there were no answers. Then, an amazing eyewitness account
So one more thing, I just like to inform all participants that if you would like to have the certificate, you would click on the link to register for the certificate that I have just dropped in the chat box. And for the afternoon session, we will have another parallel session for you as a participant, so that you could, join the links based on, the schedule provided, as well as the website provided. So thank you for very much for your participation. Thank you.